Boom, and we're live. Everybody,
Yeah.
what's up, y'all? This is our live Q&A. I don't really even have like a fancy topic. The thumbnail was a provocative one that we could talk about, but I kind of forgot what it was. So we'll chat about that in a minute. But yeah.
You should remember the topic then.
Yeah, I will. Let's do it. Yep.
We're back.
We're back.
Hello.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's happening. It's Q&A time. A couple things I want to talk about right off the bat before we get into stuff. One thing is the podcast, because I started it. One episode is out. There are 2 more episodes that have been recorded with really cool guests. Austin from Runway Audio is next Tuesday. Super fun conversation. I recorded another one, and if you saw my calendar, which I'm not going to show you, but if you saw my calendar about some of the guests that we have coming up, a couple of them you're not going to know who they are. Maybe you might know. A couple of them you might not know who they are, but they are very, very interesting nonetheless, because of what they do. Really cool deal. And then there are some people that you know coming up also. Yeah, even other pickup builders. Like I'll talk to just about anybody. So I'm super stoked, as long as they're cool, as long as they're cool people. But yeah. So anyway, please check it out. The podcast is available on all your major podcast platforms. And there are video versions of the podcast on YouTube as well as on Spotify, because Spotify has video. So that's pretty sweet. And every episode has about a half hour of bonus content for YouTube members and Patreon members only. So if you hit the little join button down there, you'll get into some deeper stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool. The people that have watched it so far.
Your name's on the screen.
Say what?
Why is your name on the screen?
I don't know. That's a good question. Can we just take it off? We can. Oh, maybe it was because of a setting that I had when recording a guest today. Because I think when we do guests, we can put our names on the bottom of the screen. So maybe that was a leftover from that. So yeah. Anyway, so that's that. It's pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet deal. I'm really stoked about it. I actually was podcasting for like 2 hours today. So I'm all ready.
Is that a Formula One joke?
Been talking a lot. What is it?
Because it's Doc. Did you get Max? Maybe he's a fan.
No, I did not get Max. I would like to get Max. I would like to talk to Max, but I bet he's pretty press off limits till the end of the season, I would imagine.
Somebody said Odessa. John, get John.
Yeah, we probably will. At some point, get John. Would be awesome. Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess let's jump right into some questions tonight, because we have some from Patreon. So for those of you that don't know how this works, I make a post every week before the live stream, yesterday, whatever, this morning, on Patreon and for YouTube members, and they can ask questions and they get bumped to the top of the list. And we do them first, and we feature them on the screen and give them a shout out, and etc. And of course, we do the same thing with super chats, and then we try to get to as many as possible in a reasonable amount of time afterwards. So that's how this works. So question number 1 is,
Charles, would a smoothie in the neck work well with a DAF in the bridge, considering putting both of my clear bobbins in my LP?
Oh, because he has a clear bobbin smoothie and a clear bobbin DAF over the time period of me making them. Yeah, do that. I would totally do that. That'd be awesome. They're not that much different. You're just gonna not have as much sparkliness on the smoothie in the neck pickup, but it'll give you a nice kind of, that whole woman tone situation. It'll give you that, especially in a Les Paul. It'll sound awesome, actually. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Charles.
Ivan. Looking at sourcing coil wire for cheaper than what I've been paying locally. I'm seeing some in China for at least half the price. My question, they advertise wire gauge in millimeters or fraction thereof. Closest to 42, what's AWG stand for?
Yep. AWG. Yeah, okay.
Is 0.07 millimeters. It's a bit thinner. Is that enough to make a big difference in expectations?
Wire thickness is is most everything. And the nominal, so cheap wire versus expensive wire, and consistency in making a pickup. The nominal thickness of the wire and how it doesn't move around, like it doesn't get thicker and thinner over the spool, is important, as well as the thickness of the wire and the thickness of the insulation, so that is on the wire. So in inches, hang on, I have some right here. So this 42, I believe this is, did he say 70?
What did he ask?
0.0.
0.07, yeah.
Yeah, so mine is 0.068. So that is different. It will make a difference. That amount will make a difference. I would recommend, for the quantities that you probably want to use, Remington. I don't know where they are. They're in the United States, so you got to pay shipping. But this is a 5-pound roll. It doesn't last me very long, but if you got one, it would last you quite a while, and you would only have to ship it once in a great while. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I would do. 5-pound roll of 42. I think it's about, I don't remember. It depends on how much you buy and how often you buy. So I guess I can't accurately give you a price either, because I probably will buy way more than you probably will, at least right now, until you like build your amazing pickups in business and surpass anything I've ever done, which is probable. And I was going to say something else about this too. Oh, and it's metric money. So you have metric money. So I don't know how that would work. Just because we're here, 43 gauge wire is 0.060. So
going 0.07 is the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's thicker. Yeah. 0.07 is probably 42 and a half, which is a thing. You can get.
You said 0.068, and
Oh,
that's
I apologize.
0.060.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
but that's
it's
still
thinner.
the same.
So this is thinner. So 42 and a half. No, so 7.0 is thicker than 42. I wouldn't use it. What I'm getting at is that thickness is very important. Very important. Oh, you know what?
But
though?
It's only hundreds.
You know what though? Hang on.
Thousands difference.
I know. Oh.
And
the thing is, the difference between the wire that you're looking at and the wire that I have in my hand might be the difference between double build insulation and single build insulation. Those 2 digits might be double build versus single build. Also makes a difference because it holds the wire further apart from each other in the coil. So make sure that you're getting single build and not double build. That's the other thing. Okay. We drug that out a lot, but I had to think it all through. Sorry. I'm so I just buy the same because we make stuff. I just I'm out of this. I just need to get more at this point.
Matt, I thought I posted this, but seems to either have disappeared or I forgot to hit send. My question is, what should I do about pickups for an American Fender Strat hum with a hardtail bridge? I have the factory humbuckers, and they are thin and tinny, trebly. I'm looking for a good replacement set for rock, hard rock, and metal that have a fuller bass and mid-range. Also, the pickups in the guitar use a 3-screw mount. Do you have the option to do that with your humbuckers, or am I better off going with a loaded pick guard? Thanks in advance, and love the new podcast too, by the way.
Thanks.
He's not an Oxford comma person, by the way.
What does that mean? Oh, is that one long
He
sentence?
just said rock, hard rock, no comma, and metal.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know grammar stuff. That's why I have that app on my thing. So it would be easier to just get a loaded pick guard, and it really wouldn't be that much more expensive, and it would come all done. I can get the pick guards in 3-hole, like you're saying, but I can't do pickup base plates in 3-hole. So my pickups won't fit your pick guards, but my pick guards will fit your guitar. For that, if you want to go a little heavier, these new Super 8s that we got out right now are really, really good. Really strong mid-range, nice low end, not thin at all. I really like them, and I'm not a higher gain, like a higher output pickup guy, but I really do like these. And they're smooth all across the board. I really like them a lot. So loaded pickguard with those 2 of those in it, that would be the jam.
Mr. Goat. The hot wire from the humbuckers are so small. My shovel hands and sausage fingers in a dadgum LP cavity with a soldering iron and wires everywhere. I've never had to walk away so many times from a project in all my days. Question. Would I be missing out on anything tonally by making future LP style guitars with only 2 knobs? Is that supposed to be knobs?
2 knobs.
And why?
Okay, so
Knobs.
here is the solution for this. Get yourself a piece of plastic or a piece of cardboard or a piece of thin wood and drill a bunch of holes in it. By a bunch, I mean 4. Set them up. Take your knobs off your guitar and set them on the top of the guitar so you can mark where the holes go. Wire your guitar with the stuff out of the guitar. Do not wire it in the guitar. That will solve all your problems. Jimmy, and I did not know this until we did the podcast, that maybe it's a Patreon thing, but you're on Patreon, so you should have seen this. You might not have gotten to see it. Jimmy, when he sells his wiring kits from Jersey Shore Guitar Garage, they come on that cardboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like the guts side up, and he's got the diagram and the little dots and where you're supposed to solder everything. But the size of that cardboard is also strategic, so that when you set it on the back of a Les Paul, it holds everything up out of the control cavity. So you just, all you have is the pickup wires coming up there, and he tells you where to solder it, and then you drop the whole thing in. That's how you should wire a Les Paul or an SG or something. If you don't have, so just get a piece of cardboard and put some holes in it and put the pots in, so that it's in the right shape and, so they're in the right spot, and then put them in and then drop everything in afterwards. Then you don't have to worry about how big your hands are. And you won't end up burning things, because what'll happen is your soldering iron will be in there and you'll be doing something, and like this will touch something else and you'll end up melting a different wire, and it just gets messy. So do it all out of the guitar. Teles too, same thing. Put the knobs on the Tele control plate, flip it out upside down, put it in the hole upside down, do it all outside of the guitar, drop it in afterwards. That's what I would do. That's what I do. That's what I do. You don't need 2 do's.
No unnecessary words.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Those are all the questions?
Yeah, I only have a couple. I did see, so continuing with, Doc said Lewis is a guitar fan.
Yeah, but I'm not a Lewis fan. I'm not a Lewis fan in the slightest sense of the word. I actually find him extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. And I am excited about him retiring at some point. Not as excited as I was when Tom Brady retired, but I would say 60% as excited as when Tom Brady retired is how much I want Lewis Hamilton to retire. He does a lot of good things in the world and does a lot of charity stuff, but he whines way too much about racing. So he could, I don't, no. Nope. But if he called me and said, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? Can I be on your podcast? I'd say, yeah, probably.
What's the chances of that happening?
Well, not at all now, because he's probably watching this. What are you going to do?
Bard said, what are you drinking?
Water. I'm drinking water.
She's a Lewis fan.
I am drinking Kirkland brand from Costco. Sparkly grapefruit flavored water. That's what I'm drinking. Because I've been sitting at this computer, staring at this camera, shooting so much stuff and podcast stuff all week that if I was to have a cocktail with everyone, it would be bad. So I just called it and said, nope, I'm not doing that.
All right.
Another question?
What? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Do you want to answer some more questions?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. David Carter, will you do, unless you have already, a clear bobbin P90?
Oh, so we did like 6 of them ever. And they were really cool. They were extremely difficult. And if we do them again, they will not be cheap. And there will not be very many. But they are very, very cool. If you look back on my Instagram, we did a batfish with one in the neck position. That's actually here in town. The guy that bought that for me is here in town. Really cool guitar, but really cool pickup, but just hard to do. I wonder if Thumbs Down Frank was here before the live stream started or after? Oh, after. And it was before I said that about Lewis Hamilton too, so.
Rouge. Is that how you say that word? Rouge 5?
Yep, I think so.
What is your opinion on lace sensor pickups?
I think that the design is very cool because it is not at all conventional as like other pickups. So I like the idea of them. I am not personally a fan of how they sound. That doesn't mean they're bad. Everybody likes something different. Obviously. So I won't have them in my guitars because I don't really care for the sound of them. But they're very cool. I like the design idea, I guess, is probably the biggest thing.
Nick, on Silver Sky SE, are all 3 pickups wound the same?
They are. They are not. I did not write them on the back. Ask me another question, and I will measure these because I don't remember what they are.
Okay, so David Carter said, I hope not too much for a pair. That leads into a couple more questions that involve a Riviera. He was the P90 guy.
Oh, cool. What's a Riviera?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
That's yeah. That's a guitar.
Maybe he has more questions coming. Fat Philosopher wants to know Quattro or Super 8 for metal?
Quattro.
Jim Cunningham. Now back to winding a single coil with 2 different gauges of wire. Would that not allow you to wind fewer winds to get more voltage with less resistance?
No, because I guess it depends how you wired it. I don't know. Here's the problem with it, is you would have a very difficult time. All these pickups are the same. These are SE pickups, Silver Sky SE pickups, and they're all the same. 7.4K. You would have a very difficult time with inductance because the thing would be so messy unless it was done. You'd have to do it on a machine, I think. And then it would have to be really careful to get the thing neat enough to make enough inductance to work. Otherwise, you would have so much air in the coil that it wouldn't work very well. I think. I don't know. I should try it. If I do it, I will literally try to do it live. That's what we should do. I should try it. I'll just try it, and we'll just try it. We'll see what it sounds like. I don't know.
Doc said he finds Max annoying, but you can still be friends.
Yeah, he's Canadian, though.
Damien Joseph, what's the deal with the series parallel 4th position on my Jag? I can't seem to like it. It hurts my ears. What's the intended purpose, do you think?
Well, series versus parallel on a Jag would be whether the pickups are in line with each other, sounding like a big humbucker, or parallel, which would be like a normal middle position. So it's just a preference. We do a series parallel on a Tele sometimes, and it sounds great. So it just depends on the pickup. And Jag pickups they can be tough to make them sound good.
So David Carter said it's an Epiphone Riviera.
Heck yeah.
It's got mini humbuckers. They look like they are surface mounted in a frame. Is it possible to swap in P90s without drilling on the guitar?
Man, I don't know on a Riviera. I honestly don't know. I think so. But here's the problem with the Riviera too. You got to measure the string spacing. You got to measure the string spacing because some of those Rivieras, Casinos, with those P90s or those mini humbuckers have a narrower, like a 47.5 millimeter string spacing, and it makes it very difficult because we can't make them that small. So that's another thing. So measure your string spacing. And I would measure it. I would take the pickup out and see if you could measure it. The problem is that you would have to figure out how to mount it too, because a P90 doesn't have ears on it. It just drops in and you have to screw it into a block. So a dog ear might work, but I don't know. I've actually never tried that. New button.
Van Jan
Thanks,
Guitars, Ivan. Thank you for the super chat. Why don't we wind pickups on our next Zoom?
Because on our next Zoom, we are finishing building the red Telecaster. I actually put clear on the neck for it today, and I'm going to put another coat of clear on it tomorrow, and we are going to finish that guitar, and it is going to be awesome. And that means that we're finally going to get a T90 demo because there's T90s in that red Tele.
So that's Sunday, y'all.
That's Sunday.
This Sunday.
So what he's asking about is we do a Patreon monthly hangout. No, Monday.
Oh,
Monday.
I said Sunday.
Monday.
My
Monday,
bad.
Monday,
Monday.
Monday. Last month, we switched it is why. Last Monday of every month, 8 p.m. Eastern time, live hangout. We usually do some sort of work, doing something guitar related, kind of live, dive into some stuff. If you have a problem with the guitar, you can come, turn on your camera on Zoom, be like, hey, help me out with this. We all talk about it. It's really fun. We do it once a month. And there's a tier for Patreon for it. Over the last few, kind of on and off because it got a little wacky because we moved and stuff. But we've been building a Telecaster, winding the pickups, putting it all together, doing all the stuff, and it's almost done. So we're gonna hopefully play it.
Mr. Goat said him and Girl Cat will be there.
Oh, awesome.
And she was being extra diva and walking on the keyboard.
Nice. Cool.
I'm like, what are you pointing at me for?
Sorry. I was pointing at Ivan
I know.
on our screen.
I realized it now. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything.
Okay, cool.
I did not miss anything. All right. Thomas, why does my brand new Gretsch G5622 have no sound? Where does that ground wire go to?
On a Gretsch, it's probably something to do with either your output jack or that master volume down there on the bottom horn. Something to do with that.
I already asked that. Ed DePriest. I'm looking to have a HPP. What's that mean?
I don't know.
Build done using your center punch and P90s. My question is, do your P90s come with different values for middle and neck pickups?
Oh, HPP. Oh, he must be having a Texas Toast guitar built with a humbucker in the bridge and two, or wait, it's got to be.
Yes, 3.
Yeah, so it's got to be a humbucker and two P90s. So like single, that's a gnarly guitar. I will, so knowing that, anytime anybody orders a full set from me, I automatically just go, okay, this is a set. Let me just do it special for this set. And that's one right there where I would go, okay, let me adjust what we do a little bit to make sure that it works together, because that's a crazy combination. So I would do it in that case. Anytime somebody orders, a set of Strat pickups, a set like 3 P90s to go in a Reverend or something like that, we will wind them as a set, because it's kind of a foregone conclusion, I can usually tell, and somebody will put in the notes. A lot of times people will put in the notes, hey, this is going in this guitar, etc. Can you wind it as a set? And we just do it because we wind every pickup we make to order. So what I do is I have a long piece of masking tape on my desk out over there, and I write down the order numbers and any special notes to go with that order number and what the pickup is. So if it's a center punch and it's black bobbins and blah blah blah, or if it's 2 P90s, can you wind them RWRP? Like I make the little note there, and that goes with that order all the way through till we ship it. So very, very simple to make that compensation. No problem at all. That's a crazy combination. Crazy.
Rusty, do you like Fender Dual-Mag single coils? Do you make a version?
Dual-Mag single coils. I don't know what he's talking about exactly. Only because many people call things different, so I just want to make sure that, you know what I mean? People call things different things, so I just want to make sure that we... Are these... I don't know what that is because I'm... these are a custom shop deal. And these are... Yeah, I mean, I don't know why not. These are super easy to make. It's just a custom shop single coil set with a particular wind on it, like a 50s sort of thing. Yeah, I don't see why not.
So this is a different version of the same question. Maybe he asked it twice. Did you answer the question about
Yeah.
where does a ground wire go?
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Chance. Just wanted to say thanks for the content. I'm new to the channel and love your reviews, etc. Recently got a Silver Sky SE and your review was spot on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot.
Dominique Brooks. Opinion on Seymour Duncan Stag Mag or other humbuckers with magnet poles?
I like them. I think they are a really cool thing. They're a unique sound, you know. We tried it. I didn't like. I've made a few sets. I came up with a really good one, but I didn't really like it. Like, it was really good. It went in a couple of guitars. The people really liked them, but for something for me to do on a regular basis, I just never did. But they, like, a really good wide range pickup, which is what that basically is. Yeah, they're awesome. Absolutely awesome. Clarity, like more single coily sounding, kind of, because of the way the magnets are.
Mr. Goat, what can one expect from a humbucker P90? I kind of like the sound of it.
A lot. That's going to be a lot of guitar, man. I like the sound of it too. I think you'd have to do a center punch to get the mid-range out of the bridge pickup to honestly keep up with the two P90s. I think it would work. If it was mine, I would just put three P90s in it. But I really, really like that idea a lot. A lot.
New gun guy, what makes a pickup sound fat?
I mean, that depends what you call fat. I mean, that's a difficult thing. I mean, I want to do a video on, like, and I'm not disrespecting how you're saying it, but I want to, like, all these crazy terms that people use, like warm and like all the buzzwords that people use to try to describe tone, and sort of like, what does that really mean versus what you really want? Because what people really want is they want their guitar to be heard in a mix. And if you have a really bassy neck pickup, or a really, like, lots of bass and it is fat, quote unquote, it won't work in a band. You want a good mid-range. That's the number one most important thing. And you don't want it to be muddy, and you don't want it to be too shrill, but you want to have some clarity. But you really want a peak in the mid-range. If you move it too far forward, or too far left over into the lower frequencies, you lose yourself to the bass. So that's the problem. So I want to do a video about that, actually.
Fat Philosopher, if you are making a single Strat, is it better or easier to use a lower output humbucker to balance it with the single coils?
Not really, because of where it is in the guitar. Yeah, I mean, there again, just because a pickup number says a certain thing doesn't mean that's how it's going to sound once it's in the guitar. So, like, our center punches are pushing 10K, but they don't sound that hot when they're in the guitar. And they balance really well with our Strat single coils. So, it's more about where in the frequency response, like more in where in the mix each of the pickups are going to lay and how that works, than it is the number on the pickup.
John used to own 6, now owns 9, can't play Amy Roddy. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, folks.
Hey.
Trying to learn a new song, and it is kicking my butt. What do you do when you get frustrated with a song?
So that's a hard one because I probably learn different than you. I have to listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over. And for me, the difficulty with learning a song is honestly remembering the whole thing and like building it in my head, like the changes and all that. Um, so I have to just listen to it. But I learn everything by ear. I don't know how to read music, so or I've never cared about tabs, nothing. I learn everything by ear. So I'm probably a little different than you. You probably learn different than me, but I just have to listen to it over and over and over and over.
But if you can't get it, what would you do?
I don't know. You just don't give up, I guess. I don't have a good answer for that.
I mean, do you ever have to walk away? Do you have to listen to something different? Do you?
No, because usually you have a deadline. Well, for me, usually I have a deadline. Like, hey, we're going to do this song. You need to learn it. Yeah. No, and that's the other thing. The band I play with, it's like, hey, we're going to do this thing in like 45 minutes. This is what it is. And I guess the real answer is you suck the first couple times you do it, and then you just get it. So here's my suggestion.
That philosopher said, I just play Stairway to Heaven over and over again until I get sick of that, and then I go back to the new song.
So here's one of my buddies who is he's like I don't know what his qualifications are, whatever. He went to school for music, super fancy music. Like he's a bassist, but he's a jazz musician, and he can sit in with any world-class group of musicians at any point, anytime. He's one of those people, right? And just sit in there and play. And what he told me was, if you can every day, and this is really crazy, extravagant, but as much as possible, but he said every day for a month, sit down with your guitar and listen to a record from beginning to end, trying to play along with every song. Don't stop and like start over, but just listen through from beginning to end and just kind of identify chords and like listen to the changes and try to play along with as many as possible. He said if you do a full record from beginning to end for 30 days, it will completely change how you approach music and how you identify all that stuff, how you identify what chord is what, how you understand song structure, and it will be in practice, like in a row instead of in a book, and you'll literally like put it into application more quickly. So he gave me that suggestion. I tried it. I didn't make it a whole month because I was busy doing stuff, but it really does help just to get you in the mindset of working your way through music and for the purpose of learning it and getting comfortable with it.
I think that's going to create some good conversation.
Yeah.
Simon's Spare Strings.
I love it.
What is classed as overwound? Is it above 11.5K? That was just an example they said. What is classed as overwound?
Yeah. Okay. So this is one of those terms that I think is overused and doesn't make sense. I guess in the strictest sense of the word, overwound would be if you look at the traditional. So I'm just going to knock through them super fast. So an early Strat, all the pickups were 5.8K with 42 gauge plain enamel wire, Alnico 5. Teles, well, those are a little more variable. So let's not use that. PAFs were 7.8K, 5,000 winds on each bobbin, Alnico 5, pretty standard. P90s, 10,000 winds, 42 gauge wire, plain enamel, 2 Alnico 5 magnets, the end. So then if you put more winds on those designs than they originally came with in those kind of original designs, that would be considered overwound. And so at first, people were doing things, and I think Lindy Fralin probably still kind of terms his stuff this way, where it's like 10% over, 5% over, or whatever. But the problem is, and then we talked about this last week, is that even Fender has no standard. Like what the first guitars came with, that was only the first guitars. To this day, they change their pickup designs with every new release. So when they say these new noiseless pickups are new, they literally are new. They wind them different. They have almost 3,000 designs in a book somewhere that they've used over the years, and they're constantly adding to it. So that overwound thing can really only be in reference to that first standard of those old guitars, which to me just doesn't apply anymore. It just doesn't make sense because there's just so many variables in it now.
Got a super chat from Ed DePriest.
Thanks,
you
Ed.
for
I appreciate that.
the super chat. Thanks for the answers. I'll make sure Matt and Chris let you know it's a set. He's the P90 person.
So then it obviously was Texas. I figured it probably was, especially with something a wackier, cool combination like that, because that makes sense that it would be them.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's super cool.
And... whoops, pushed the wrong button. Scott Pickett, thank you
Hey,
for
Scott,
the
thank you.
super chat. Hi from the North Carolina mountains. I have a Squier Affinity Strat and want to change the volume and tone pots out. Will it change the tone much? I like the pickups, but not opposed to new pickups. Any recommendations?
So my question would be, if you like the guitar pretty much the way it is, thank you for the super chat, by the way. If you like it pretty much the way it is, and you don't really have a reason to change the pots unless they're giving you trouble, then don't change them at all. There's really no point. Especially like on a Squier Affinity Strat, you wouldn't. The only thing that would change if you use the same resistance and everything is the feel of how they turn. Other than that, you probably in that situation with that guitar, diminishing returns on the work. Now, if you're going to put new pickups in it, then you would definitely want to change the pots to get the most out of the new pickups. We have a loaded pick guard that'll drop right into that thing, but that's a whole another level of commitment over pots. I just don't think in that situation, unless you really have a problem or are repairing something, there's really no point in it. Just save your money, you know.
All right.
Oh, somebody likes Lewis Hamilton. We got 2 thumbs down now.
Josh Carter, is it possible to have gold pole pieces on a Tele bridge pickup? I want to do a gold hardware build in the future. Also, absolutely loved the podcast. Can't wait for more.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. We cannot do gold pole pieces on a Tele bridge pickup. However, we could do gold pole pieces on a T90 pickup.
What's the difference?
Because we use screws. It's like a P90, but it's shaped like a Tele pickup. So then we could use gold screws. So in a T90 set, we could use gold screws on the neck and the bridge, and that would be killer.
Cool.
Yep.
Dr. Times. Hey, Dylan. Just put one of your Super 90s in my Jag-Stang, and it sounds awesome. Taught myself how to solder watching your videos. Thanks for all the great content.
Oh, thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Song Fantasy. Hi, Dylan.
That's a great name.
What do you do to balance out the overall EQ of the Spark amp? Sometimes the basic settings make that amp have too much bass.
Okay, so to tell you the truth, I rarely play it with the speaker. That's how. I use headphones 99% of the time. We live in an apartment now, and I just don't have the situation to play loud. And I actually use that amp more for little drops into videos and stuff, like when we're just like doing not really important tone comparison stuff, but just like, see, look how this works. For example, when we bought the Squier Affinity Telecaster and I gave it to my friend in that video, that was the Spark Camp, but that was with headphones. That's how I do it. I agree. I know that there are some people modding them, and if you Google some forums, there are some people doing some stuff like putting a cordless drill battery in there so it can be portable and not plug in. They're doing stuff like swapping the speakers out with other stuff that isn't so bassy. They're doing some stuff, but I don't find the need to do that. I haven't found the need to do that. You could try it though.
Super chat from Raf Freitas.
Thank you, sir,
I don't know.
for the super chat. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for the super chat. Hi from Philly. New to the channel,
What's up,
and
Philly?
I dig it. If I replace PCB
Yep.
on a Gibson LP
Yep.
P90 for 500K pots and 22 caps, will that reduce the shrill bridge top end? Thanks.
Probably not. Actually, and you're not going to want to hear this, that stuff's really good parts. If you actually watch our podcast that just came out with Jersey Shore Guitar Garage, he goes into what is in there and why there's no real reason to change that stuff unless it corrodes and gives you connection issues. Here's the problem. The way to fix it is your pickups. To fix the shrill high end, because you probably have like a 500 or T or a 490 T or something, and so which is probably ceramic, and just the way they're wound, that's probably why. So, for example, you would want to put like a set of our DAF humbuckers in there, but then you would have to swap out the pots because you don't have any way to see what I mean. Then you don't have any way to put the stuff in there. So it's a catch-22 situation. But if you can't replace the pickups in the guitar, don't replace the pots unless you really need to, because that stuff is actually really good. They're Panasonic capacitors, I think. And they're really good. Jeffrey Egan.
Super chat from Jeffrey Egan. Speaking of pots, is there a difference between volume and tone pots, or are they interchangeable? Audio or taper for either?
So there are there's audio taper versus linear taper. And so a linear taper is literally a diagonal line that goes from 0 to 10. So when you turn it down to 5, it's 50%, like that. When you have a audio taper pot, it does like a curve. They call it a logarithmic pot. Actually, that's the real name for it, because it's not linear, it's logarithmic. So it kind of goes like this and curves up like that. I use logarithmic audio taper pots in all my guitars. I just like it better. I just like how it feels. But there's no difference between a volume pot and a tone pot per se. It's just that one, you can wire them two different ways. You can wire one as a as a variable resistor, which is your tone pot, and your volume pot is wired as a voltage divider, and it's just what's soldered to what and what is grounded.
So earlier, Jeffrey, when you were talking about how the advice that you learned from Travis, he was like, does it have to be a record or can it be a CD?
Or it could be an MP3.
It was just funny. And then
or a WAV file.
Ed DePriest said regarding that spark, he said if you get the spark off the ground or desk, he puts his on a wicker basket and it lets the bass bleed off.
Oh, well, that totally makes sense. And actually, if you look behind me, that's right there is probably the worst way to play one, because it's in a corner and it's on a desk that's hollow with a bunch of space underneath it. That's probably the absolute worst way to play it. But since I don't use the speaker, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a great suggestion. That would make sense.
Davell. Hi, both. Dylan.
Hey.
I like how he said hey to both, but he's like, my question is definitely for Dylan.
He didn't have a question for you.
Dylan, do you know anything about
Excel
Scorcher's
spreadsheets.
pickups?
Oh, no, that's for you.
I can't get the pickup out of the cover to do a rewire. Scorchers.
No, I've never heard of them. I've never heard of them.
Can't get the pickup out of the cover.
Probably epoxied.
Good
Probably
times.
epoxied. That's, yeah.
Rick Bonneville. When I get my second 92 Fender Strat plus neck refretted, we should do a sharpen my axe sort of thing. I'm not liking my vintage noiseless singles.
I don't like them either.
It's a cool name. Sharpen my axe.
Well, that's what what's his name in Phoenix? That's what his podcast is. Yeah, it's called Sharpen My Axe. Or, well, I think that's what one of his video series is called. Phil McKnight.
Okay. I had to ask this question a couple of times, so let me find it. Dear Dylan, this is from Ada TM. I still don't know if that means trademark.
Maybe she's trademarked it or he's trademarked it.
Dear Dylan, my single coil pickups winding are not soldered to the plate. It's just soldered on the wires, and what's holding them is just the tape. How to fix that?
My single coil pickups windings are not soldered on the plate. I don't know. Is that a pickup that you're building, or is that a stock pickup in something? I'm not sure what that means because...
It's not your customer, right?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't know if that's why they were
Yeah,
asking.
no,
you.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Maybe we need some more clarity there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the top because this is hard. And it throws them all out of order, so y'all bear with me. EF.
F.
I just put a 4-way switch in my Made in Mexico player Tele. I love the sound of the neck bridge in Serial, but think it sounds a little dark. Does it make sense to use 300K pots instead of the stock 250K?
Ooh, great question. So, what you're doing is you're making a humbucker when you do that. And so that is probably why it's darkening it up some. I, personally, would go 500 because if you like it and you're going to use it a lot, put 500s in it. And then just tone knob down for when you don't like the other pickups like that. That's what I would do. That's a great, yeah. That sounds awesome. I love the way those sound. You do that with two P90s, it's gnarly.
And Ada said it's a stock pickup, so it's not.
So as long as it's not hurting anything, it probably doesn't matter. It would be the easy answer. Because they shouldn't always be soldered to a base plate. Is the real answer to that. Depending on the way the pickup is made and how the guitar is wired, you should not always have one grounded to the base plate.
So Ada had another question. Dear Dylan, have you ever checked Nux Mighty 20 amp?
No, I have not, and we keep getting asked about that, and I probably will look into it. I will probably look into it because we actually, because they also make a little tiny amp like the one that I just gave to our friend, and I need to replace that one now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll try Nux's version of that.
Shootout.
Yeah. Yeah. My little Fender micro amp, I gave it to the guy that I gave the Tele to. I gave it to him. So I need another one.
So Ada said the windings are soldered with the wires, not soldered in the small hole that soldered the two wires, winding and wire of the pickup.
Oh, yeah. So some brands do that. And Yes, that is a thing. I don't like it personally, but some brands do that.
So if it works, it should be
If
good.
it works, it
Yeah.
works. Yep.
Rusty, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your knowledge and opinions with us. Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you. Got another Lewis fan.
I know. David Carter, what gives a single coil twang? That is why I've never been into them because of that, but I found that I dig the less twangy ones and a couple that I like, including a stock cheap PV single.
I guess it depends on what you consider twang, because a lot of people consider twang to be a lot of high end, which is how the pickup is wound in the magnet choice. What I consider twang is Tele bridge pickup, the end, nothing else.
All right.
Yeah.
Skyhawk Delta. Hi, Dylan and Leslie. How would you describe the sonic differences between the 8-ball and Super 8? I know they're constructed different.
Yeah.
For me, I usually play with a treble booster into a Marshall.
Treble booster into a Marshall, you're going to want the Super 8. So the 8-ball is going to be more strong mid-range. Strong mid-range on the 8-ball, more than that. And it could lean a little harsh into a Marshall with a top boost, because Marshalls are a little toppy anyways. Then you add that top boost, then you add the mid-range poke of the 8-ball. Might be too much. I would go with Super 8s. Yep.
So we got a super chat from EF, also known as F. Just said thanks. Thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate that.
F. Those are great initials.
They are.
Okay. Moving on. Mr. Goat, how is the bass pickup guitar back there coming? How is the bass pickup guitar
It
back
is
there?
hanging there. It is hanging there. Hanging in there. Hanging there.
Still hanging there?
Still hanging there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Windsurf Maui. Sorry, I arrived late. What's the status of the whiteboard?
I forgot about it. No lie. We were in Target the other night or somewhere. So our daughter moved into her new house this weekend.
So we've been doing a lot of not our shopping.
Yes. So we've been like shopping a lot, like taking her around, helping her get whatever she needed, spatulas and dish drainers and stuff. And so we were on a mission to get her stuff. And I was like, we were walking around Target, I think. And I was like, oh, I got to get a whiteboard.
And that was it.
And, I said it to myself a couple times, and we got so caught up. Same thing. We went back.
As soon as I saw the comment, I was like,
we didn't get a whiteboard. We will get a whiteboard. It's because it's going to go right there. That's where it's going to go. We got that big blank spot. So yeah, for sure. I just completely spaced it. We've been really busy. So.
Paul McNary.
Thanks for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. No hurry. Schedule on my set of center punches. I don't have a guitar ready yet.
They're sitting right there, and I'm going to build them and wax pot them and ship them tomorrow. Yep.
Alrighty.
The slugs, we were back ordered on slugs.
Of all things.
Of all things. So dumb. Anyway, they came in this morning, and it's all right there. Yep.
Cool.
Thanks, Paul, for the super chat, by the way.
Jimmy John.
Ooh.
Hey, guys. Great show.
Wait, so
interrupting.
Is a sandwich going to show up on my door right now?
No. Oh, Jeffrey Egan said, don't forget the lab coat.
That was on my mind today, too. The lab coat actually was on my mind.
Super chat from David Carter. Thank you
Thanks, man.
for the super chat.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for the insight and all the videos. I rewatch semi-regularly.
Sometimes I do.
Does YouTube know if you rewatch or just a watch count?
Well, I do know that I can
Clear
see
your
the
cookies before you watch again.
so I can see the difference between a new. So it'll say I can see it, this many views for the month, this many unique viewers for the month. So I know that many people are either watching the video over again or watching another video, because unique viewers is usually about 2/3 of the number of the total views. So a third of you are watching them over again, or more than one. Maybe even more than that, actually.
Maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jimmy John. Back to Jimmy John. Is that the same question?
Great sandwiches fast.
Oh. Hey guys, great show. Question. Do you know if the Gibson Les Paul originals come with unpotted burst buckers, or are they potted? Also, can you lower the volume of the super chat horn? That is horrible timing, because I interrupted saying his comment for the super chat horn, and then he's like, can you lower that volume?
I think we can, actually.
We can. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting us know, though.
Done. We lowered the volume of the super chat horn.
All right. So, potted or unpotted burst buckers?
I don't know. So you have to go to the website and look. But I think all of the stuff I know a guy who knows a guy who knows. Actually, I know the guy who knows. But I think all of them are potted right now, unless it's like a custom shop thing. Like if you buy an R9 or an RO, I'm pretty sure those aren't potted. But I think most of the production stuff is. I'm pretty sure. All of my stuff is. We tried to make some stuff unpotted for a while, but people had too much trouble with it. I had to end up repotting them anyway. So,
Rico B, are you playing the US or SE Silver Sky more these days?
oh, the SE. I mean the regular one. The regular one.
That was a bad mistake.
Yeah, no. Well, okay, so the real answer to that would be more nuanced than that. I'm playing the SE a lot because we're testing pickups, because I've got a line of pickups coming out for it. So I've been playing it a lot. The guitar that I play the most for fun, so that's the thing I think people, it's kind of funny. So this is what I put that thumbnail up, is this exact question. Because like I put my carbon fiber guitar up for sale. It's really to just get another one because I want another one. And then people, I want two more. And then people, are asking, well, now that you got the Breedlove back, do you still like the carbon? He must not like they assume that I got tired of the carbon fiber one and now I like the wood one again because I used it in a video. So people assume that. People assume that I thought your Gibson guitar, your Gibson SG, was your favorite guitar. And now you have the Silver Sky and it's the new hotness, whatever. The honest answer is it's okay to like more than one thing a lot. And it's okay to have more than one favorite, in my opinion. Unless it's a wife. Yeah. Yeah. But kids, you have to have more than one. But a wife, you can't.
You don't have to have more than one kid.
Favorite.
You can't have any favorite.
That's what I'm saying. They both have to be your favorite.
Can't be.
They are my favorite kids. I would not want any other ones. I don't want somebody else's. I really, really, really like my pink Silver Sky, the American Core Silver Sky. I love that guitar. I've been playing it a lot. I really do like it. I like it way more than the SE for many reasons. It is really good. But it's just different. It's just different. So, yeah, I've been playing. I got a surprise coming for the Silver Sky SE, actually.
Aaron Short Music says, hi, guys. Looking forward to hanging out tomorrow night.
Oh, speaking
shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. So let's talk about that. So Aaron Short Music, who is obviously has just commented. We're going to talk about that very exact thing, which is carbon fiber versus wood. He just got a Rain Song acoustic, and of course he's a Martin guy, and I got my McPherson, and I'm a Breedlove guy. So we're going to chat about that tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I think 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we are going to attempt to stream to both channels at once. So it'll be like a guest situation, like both of us on the screen at the same time, and actually broadcasting to both channels. So hopefully his channel and mine at the same time, which would be pretty cool. So I hope you can be there for that. So it'll basically just be a special live stream. We like to do this every once in a while, maybe once a month or something. It's been a lot of fun.
Fat Philosopher wants to know who's your second favorite wife, Dylan.
I mean, I had one before, but I wouldn't make the list.
Oof. I got nothing for that. Oh my gosh. Jim Cunningham says we're competing with young Sheldon, and he can't multitask like he used to. He said, wish you guys didn't come on opposite young Sheldon.
That's a pretty funny.
That's
now I can
cute.
see being opposite of Texas Toast or opposite of Phil McKnight. I can definitely see that. But young Sheldon, that's a new one.
It's prime time, man.
It is. I love
I
it.
didn't know anybody watched TV, but
Oh, that's funny.
okay. That
is hilarious. Actually, I love it. Ugh.
Mr. Goat has a series of questions.
Okay.
Let's start with this one because we just talked about it. Do
Okay.
you guys enjoy grown kid parenting? And then it said grandkids, question mark.
Eventually on the grandkids.
We do not have any grandkids.
We do not have any.
Do we enjoy grown kid parenting?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Yes, because,
They go home.
well, they're their own people now, and
Yeah.
they are figuring it out, and it's really cool to watch. I mean, it's
It is
really
fun.
cool to watch with anybody, but especially with
Mm-hmm.
your kids because it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't be like, I told you so all the time, but at the same time, it's like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. Well,
know.
and learning
It's kinda cool.
and learning new things with an adult kid is kind of more fun. Well, there's little kid things are fun too, but this is fun right now. For us, especially lately, has been really fun.
So then he also asked earlier, how is apartment life? Is there the other channel episode coming soon?
Apartment life is serving a purpose. It is not optimal because I can't play loud, because the gates are always busted, because they never get our trash when they're supposed to. But overall, the place is nice, and it's, it serves a purpose. We joke about it being our office with a bed, and the living room is the waiting area. Like, it's serving a purpose. This is not our forever home. It's a transitory.
But we also don't know if we
move.
want one. So
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. We are working on specific goals.
So we are busy
Yes.
and we are checking off things.
Yep. We are working on specific goals, and this was this was part of the plan to get to those goals. And I'm not we've owned homes, and we had a brand new house before. So we're not really we were talking about this last night. We're not the people who are like, this is what your life is supposed to be, and this many car garage and this white picket fence and all those things. We're obviously, you've probably seen if you followed us for any amount of time.
But we've also done all those things.
We've done it
checked
already.
all
Yeah,
those
that's
boxes
true.
and we're like,
That is true.
whatever.
So we are no longer, I guess, is more accurately those
Yes.
people, and we're just out to do what we're going to do and accomplish our goals. And
Yeah. People think we're crazy anyway, so we're
Yeah.
just going to keep being crazy.
apartment life
So
is.
is there something coming on the other channel anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm working on a bunch of little things, but honestly, I have just been so busy that
We should. I actually said we would do it, but we didn't because we went on another trip.
we did.
We said we were going to do this monthly. We're not going to make it for February.
Oh, on our live stream? A live stream?
Yeah.
We could do one.
That's easy.
We could do one. Maybe not tonight, but we could do one.
Not tonight.
Maybe
Because
Sunday
we'd
night
have
or
to
something.
stop now, and No, not a different night. You're not putting something back on Sunday night.
No, I don't mean permanently, but just to get it out.
No.
No, you just want to do it next week? Okay, whatever.
I don't want to do it on a Sunday.
Okay. Me either. Me either.
I feel like Mr. Go had another question. Yes. What was the secret Tennessee project? Never. You didn't miss it.
Yeah, it's still a secret.
Is it even a video for you if I don't sneeze? Can you still hear me sneezing if the door's closed?
Yes. Somebody in a live stream or somewhere said bless you the other day when you were in there, and I think maybe it was on Instagram or something. I don't know. That was so funny. The Tennessee thing might actually, it's close. I heard some things the other day. So, but yeah, it's still a secret.
I need to be filled in on the things he heard.
Casino told me some stuff.
Oh. All right. What are you looking for?
I don't know.
Oh.
More questions.
Brian Smith. Reverend just came out with their 6-gun HPP. Humbucker in the bridge, then P90s in the middle and neck. I want one bad.
That's why people are doing it then. That would make sense.
6-gun.
They're the people to come up with that idea. Yep.
All right.
I love it.
Rico, greetings from Arizona. Any advice on how to smooth out a small dent in the back of the new Silver Sky SE neck? It came that way. Thanks.
Without going nuts, if it's just in the finish or something real small, you could hit it with some 600 wet dry, which is something I want to do on this guitar too, because I don't necessarily know, unless it's damaged, it might be in the finish, because the finish isn't 100% perfect on the back of the neck on my guitar, and I know that
Is that your magic fingers?
brain
work.
Good grief. Aaron Short.
Wow. No offense, man.
Had problems with the finish on the back of his neck, and I suggested the same thing. 600 wet dry. See if you can. It won't. You shouldn't burn through the finish. You shouldn't, and it should smooth out some imperfections if it's not actual damage.
All right.
Forgetting Aaron's name and like talked to him like 3 times today.
Shameful. Eddie Quinones. Hey,
Eddie?
Dylan and Leslie. I just got Complete Guitar Wiring by Jerry Hayes. It's on Amazon or his site. It is comprehensive in big letters. It is not. No, I swear I'm not an affiliate. I just think many people here might like it.
Cool.
Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
check it out.
Jorge Reza. I'm getting a new Squier contemporary Jaguar hum with coil split and series parallel switching. Which set would you recommend?
Pickups, center punches all the way. If you're going to get my stuff and put it in there, center punches all the way for sure. Because they split really good. They don't volume drop. They got a great mid-range. You're going to love them.
Al Adolphson, just an old guy. Before I order your DAFs, if I want to get somewhat close to a Dwayne Allman or Dickie Betts sound, would you suggest Alnico 3 or 5? And which to get the, quote, woman tone?
5. And use like a 0.033 cap, 500K pots. You'd be able to get there. Yep. That'd be awesome. Alnico 5s. I don't like 3s. I don't like the way they compress. They're just weird.
Mr. Goat, did you see the Guns and Guitars bass build? It's kind of cool.
I did. That last one he built, I've seen a bunch of his stuff, but that last one he built was really nice. And I think he sold it in like a couple hours too. What he does is neat, man. Just with normal lumber and not real tools, like very simple tools. I like what he does. I should get him on the podcast too.
Dave L said, Dylan, the Scorchers pickups I mentioned earlier came on a series of guitars called Star Force USA, if that helps.
Ooh.
If they are held in the pickup with epoxy, is there a way to release them?
Man, I don't know.
Without ruining
I
it? That
have
would be hard.
tried to get epoxied pickups apart. Here's the thing with epoxy, except for EMGs, because EMGs, they do it for a reason. But most of the time, epoxy is easier than wax for people because it takes it's cheaper because they can just, it's faster. It's faster and cheaper. So I don't know. I don't know that it's probably going to work very well.
John Claudio, what is the fourth Tele guitar? What is that? Is there something on the wall?
Oh, people are asking probably about the Somnium guitar. That is not a Tele. Oh, I see what they're saying because it's 4 guitars in this way. That is the video on that guitar comes out Monday. There's a full breakdown of that guitar on Monday. It's called Somnium. They're made in northern Florida. Yep. I need to make a thumbnail for that. But yeah, that guitar. It's actually, that video is on Patreon right now, and for YouTube viewers, YouTube members, the little join button down there. If you're a YouTube member or a Patreon member, you can watch that video right now.
Fat Philosopher said, I think you were smart not having guests on your Q&A stream. Having guests during Q&A never works out well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that because that's what I was worried about. Like, I just view this as my time or our time to hang out with y'all, and having guests just kind of messed it up.
David Carter, can or would you make a mini humbucker? Would you make a mini humbucker? Could you fit a DAF into one? How do you think that would pair with your P90? I'm fixated on my Riviera right now. On apartment life, I was going to ask what happened to van life.
I still have it. Well, we got rid of our big motorhome and we got a van, an actual traveling van. But as far as the humbucker thing goes, I don't do mini humbuckers because they are really a pain to make, and I'd have to charge too much for them, and I don't like how they sound for the very reason why you asked the question. Because people want them to sound a different way, and it's just not possible because of the physical size of the pickup. I don't like compromise pickups. Where people are like, I want this pickup to sound like this, but can you make it like this and make it sound like that? No, that's why there's 2 different kinds. Yes. Yes. Like that. Like this and like that.
Ada TM says, Dylan, my wife really appreciates a lot how Leslie helps Dylan with Q&A and makes funny jokes about marriage. Marriage is only funny.
It is only funny. It's super fun. No, I love it.
It can be funny and fun. We said funny and then you said super fun.
It is fun.
Just
and it can be funny too. It's funny a lot of times.
It has to be funny.
It has to be.
I don't think I'm funny though, so I'm glad somebody appreciates
All I
it.
know is I was watching you when I was talking about something earlier, and you are managing these comments, and I'm just like so grateful that you do it. I think about it every week when you are going through there doing that. I'm like, man, I'm so glad you're here to do that.
Because you don't want to do it?
It flows better. It flows better because I can be thinking about a question and whatever, and you're doing that stuff, and I couldn't do both. And
Mr. Goat said Odessa makes minis, as does Lawler. There you go.
Yeah, I would call John at Odessa and get minis from him because he's a good friend of mine and he makes really good stuff. Lawler makes good stuff too, but John is a great guy.
Mr. Goat, props on your website. I can't believe the raw nickels are still available. I visit it regularly. It's so clean and pleasing.
Thanks, man. There's only 2 left. There are only 2 raw nickel pickups left. I know that for sure. because I know how many we had, and I've already shipped a pair. Yep, 2 left. No, I was just trying to think.
Carpo 719, you are all inspiring. I think he's talking to everybody. As a carpenter who just started making guitars, I am immersed and obsessed, and so glad I live in a time when I can learn from others on YouTube and elsewhere.
Isn't it cool? I was thinking about that earlier because I was actually, the podcast that I shot today was with somebody that I really respect. We'll announce who it is next week. I'm going to announce him a week early, basically, so you know who you're listening to. But I really love this guy. He's really great. And I really, really, really respect him. And then my program for Thursday nights is to listen to Texas Toast live stream while I'm getting ready for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the community. I love the fact that everybody's just like, what about this? What about that? Trying stuff. Hey, what if this would work? I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Mr. Goat said I should have the raw nickels that are left so he can get them. So we made jokes, and David Carter knew the reference because he just said, and
oh my gosh.
That made
That's
my
amazing.
Made my whole night.
That is awesome.
All right.
You're always going to get like 90s and early 2000s hip-hop references from Leslie. That's going to happen quite frequently. And for her, if you ever were in her presence and said something that resembled a song lyric, she would finish it in that song lyric. Like, that's what she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Disney movie quotes. Mostly animated in the last 20 years.
Longer, actually, because I had my sister before
Oh,
that.
yeah. 25 years. Yeah, that's
30
true.
years.
Yeah, last 30 years.
All right. Anyway, that makes me sound old. White Titan, what do you think about buying a cheap but cool looking guitar or guitar kit and just put in good pickups?
I say do it. If it was me, I would buy a Squier something and put new pickups in it. Or a new Epiphone, any Epiphone, anything with a set neck. Don't get an Epiphone with a bolt-on neck because they're a little flimsy. But any of that stuff, man, and just put new pickups in it. That's what I would do. They got an Epiphone Les Paul now. It's not the actual Epiphone, the $900 one. It's like $449 or something, and it's actually really good. And then just put whatever you want in it. And then on the Squier side, the classic Vibe stuff's awesome. Even that Affinity thing, that Affinity Tele I bought, I think I paid what did I pay for that guitar? $275, I think. So they're getting up there a little bit too. But just a great guitar. Oh, I was going to see if somebody bought. Nope. Somebody bought a center punch humbucker just now. But I wanted to see if it was a nickel one, just in case.
We have that last name in the thing, so I don't know if it's the same person or not.
Well, they're from Monroe, New York. I used to live very close to there.
RX Dr. Daddy. Prescription Dr. Daddy. Why don't guitar YouTube influencers ever bring up PRS quality control issues, such as finish fading and finish lifting? Their employees know about it, but aren't able to speak on it. What's up with this?
I don't know the answer to that question. Actually, I have brought it up before because I had one friend who had a problem with that guitar, and I think this is the second week in a row somebody has asked this question, so I actually talked about it last week too. I have brought it up once or twice, but in the grand scheme of... So I'm not a PRS person. I don't really own a lot. These guitars are very recent for me. I had one Paul's guitar for like 2 weeks before. I don't have a lot of personal experience with them, so that's why you don't hear from me about it at all. And I have not had finish issues, and I only know one friend of mine. I have lots of friends who play PRSs, and I actually have one friend, few friends that are endorsed by PRS who have had guitars come through, like lots of them. And all of the PRSs of all time that I personally know of, that I've seen, that I've played, one that I can think of, and it belonged to James Brown. Well, James Brown's band. And that's the only one I can think of that ever had that issue. So it just isn't something that has come up for me. And I would think that that's probably the case for most YouTubers, as you would call them, because they probably haven't had much experience with it either.
Now, if they're shushing staff, that's a whole nother thing.
That's an interesting one, yeah. I didn't know they were doing that.
I don't know.
I just don't have any experience with it, so
Let's
I
not
don't.
be shushing it too much because somebody knows. Somebody knows.
Yeah, I don't know
Not a
how
podcast.
much. I don't know how accurate that is.
The dude wants to know. I'm curious. How many pairs of Challenger pickups have you wound so far?
None. Well, one in the first guitar.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. There's pushing 20 of those guitars now. So I'm going to have to get on the stick at some point. Basically, what it is probably going to make those pickups next month. But that'll just be a sit down for a couple of days and knock them out deal.
So, one.
Yep. Just one set.
Sherry is watching again. She just said it's all about that bass. She's finishing lyrics with me.
Oh my God.
That's my
so
people.
Funny. So funny.
All right. And then Fat Philosopher said, how is Leslie's photography pursuits going? Would like to see more pics on Instagram.
That means we need to go on trips.
Correct. Or I bet, stuff is blooming now. We should start going out now that it's...
The real answer is it's been freezing ass cold for the last 2 months.
Not for the last 2 days, though.
Yeah, it's been in the 80s here.
Beautiful.
It's been unseasonably cold, even when we go on trips. Like, we went to the beach and couldn't really get out and see the water. It was so cold. We took some pictures, but nothing like we normally do.
I do have some pictures I need to upload from the last trip, so I do owe you those.
I have a dolphin dorsal fin that I need to...
That's from 2 trips ago.
Yeah. I've recently changed computers, so
but
I had
also,
to move a bunch of stuff around.
As far as the photography, because of the weather, and it's also been really windy, so I have not busted out that big lens because I don't want to be responsible for it in the wind, because you have to be really still to get focused, and adding wind to that mix is...
We got a hawk in Florida.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures I need to upload.
Mm-hmm.
I think you sent them to me, right?
I did.
Yeah. Yep. So it's interest has not waned. The one pursuit that we were just talking about is I actually saw a friend of mine's daughter, a picture on Facebook, and wearing one of the t-shirts I made, and I was like, oh, I should do that again.
Yeah, she has her own line of t-shirts outside of the Dylan Talks Town stuff, so yeah.
All right.
Do you think we're pretty much caught up?
Let me just see. I haven't been back over here.
It's right about that time, and I feel like we're getting down on it.
What is that tattoo on your phone holding arm? This is the phone holding arm.
Oh, this is a cool story, actually.
So, this is an ambigram tattoo.
Be hard to show it on the camera.
Typically have to have the same number of characters, but so a bit of personal information here. Can you see it? Yeah, kind of. This is my daughter's name, and it starts blue, and this is purple. Her birthstone is blue. So when you read it this way, it is my daughter's name. And when you read it, if you walked up to me and read it this way, so then the purple comes first, and it's my son's name. So, and they actually have different character names, is why I mentioned that in the first place. So, yeah, there's my kids' names.
Yep.
And one tattoo.
Yep. Pretty cool.
What else? Let me make sure. I don't know what that means. Jim Cunningham said Glenn Leavitt.
Oh, Glenlivet or Oban?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough call because they're different. Oban if you really want smoke. Glenlivet if you want something a little milder. That's where I would go with that. Because I like them both. Just different days.
All right. I'm
Cool.
caught up.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. Do me a favor and make sure you check out the podcast because it's really cool. Next week's is going to be really cool, too, with Austin from Runway Audio. And we actually talked about some video ideas that me and him want to do together. And then we also talked about some pretty interesting stuff on the Patreon side, too. So make sure you check that out. It comes out Tuesday morning at podcast 30 in the morning, like really early. And then the video will come out later that day. YouTube did not like the fact that I released it so early in the morning. They're like, your viewers aren't up, basically. It actually sent me a thing, and it was like, this is getting fewer views because your viewers don't watch YouTube right now.
Because they're musicians and they don't wake up in the morning.
Exactly. So I was like,
you could
well,
release like 1 in the morning or like later.
I know. So I'm gonna change how we release the video version.
But is that the important part? I thought the podcast was the
The
important part.
podcast comes out at 5 a.m. no matter what.
Oh, but you can change.
But I can change the YouTube side to come out later in the day like normal, which is what we're gonna do. Just because more people want to see it. So, or I hope more people want to see it. So yeah, man.
Not to drag out goodbyes, but seeing messages like, I really appreciate what you do. I made my first pickup thanks to you. Like, those are so cool.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah.
Those
really,
are the best kind.
Really cool.
When people learn stuff and go do it, that's the best kind. Awesome. Thanks so much, y'all. I guess we will see you all. Oh, tomorrow night on Aaron Short's YouTube. Well, on my YouTube channel, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. there will be a live stream. There probably will not be a thing before or anything, like a screen before or any of that. We'll just go live at 7 o'clock.